Would you consider your mother a nagging person? Well, it might be time to give old mom a call. Let her bask in the glory of I told you so. A study from the University of Essex showed that girls who have mothers who nag them were more likely to go to college, get better paying jobs, and avoid teenage pregnancy than those with moms who were just a little more meh. Relaxed. All right, joining me in today's Real Talk, Kara Kinnear, comedian and parents to 3 daughters, Jamie Bendel, and author and parent as well, Beth Carey. Welcome. Hi. Welcome. All right, raise your hand if you had a nagging mother.
I'm not sure if I would say nagging, but very strict. I think there's a difference.
I think, okay, yeah, that's what I was like, is it nagging? She was strict.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My mother told me always to raise my hand when somebody asked me a question.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's a
In fact, she reminded me. She reminded me.
Yes.
On the way in.
It's a yes for Jamie. No. Yes, nagging?
No, you know what? I don't recall her nagging necessarily. So nagging to me always has such a negative connotation, right? I think my mother had expectations for me and my brother in the same way that we've tried to establish expectations for our girls. Although there are times where she says, "Did you make your plane tickets to come home for Thanksgiving yet? Did you make your plane tickets to come home for Thanksgiving? Make the plane tickets."
Right. Yes. Did you call your godmother for her birthday? Did you call her? Did you call her? You get the text. Yes. How about you?
No, I wouldn't say she was nagging. She was definitely supportive. She was definitely there. You know, she came to all of those band concerts and those chorus concerts and those ball games for my brothers and things like that. And there was always a discussion, an ongoing discussion about, you know, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And how can you best get there? So she was, to me, more, she helped me lay the paths.
Right.
You know, so, I agree. Nagging is a negative thing.
Yes.
But sometimes you gotta nag. You just gotta put some ideas in their heads because they're clueless.
Yeah.
Because they're young.
Because they're young.
Because
Kara,
they're young.
what do you
my
think?
mother was very particular. They were just, she wanted things done a certain way. She wanted, and I mean, now she would say, "I did not." And when I bring things up, she's like, "I didn't do, did I do that?" I'm like,
"Yes, you did, Mom."
Really?
Right.
But she had a very, and she said it was this way that her mom wanted her to turn out a certain way. So everything she did, she was worried that I wouldn't turn out okay. And now she's like, I don't know if it would have made too much of a difference, but I don't know. She's very particular.
Let's think of that adjective. I like that. Particular.
Particular.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, I think that some of that goes to setting expectations, right? So I can ask you, did you, my daughters have this habit, they think that the way to dry a towel is to leave it wet on carpet.
No.
And that it will absorb the water out of the towel. And I'm like, could you just please pick up a wet towel and hang it back up? Right?
Okay, but that was going to be my next question because I feel like, now raise your hand if you feel like you're a nagging parent.
I don't get on them about nothing.
I for sure am
a nagging
nagging.
parent.
I'll know because Jim is
Right.
like, listen to yourself. You're whiny. And now you're making them be whiny. And I'm like, oh. But I think, let me ask you, when they're itty bitty, you do have to repeat yourself. Please get in the tub. Please get in the. So I feel like I'm nagging because they're still young and I'm still molding them to get into good behavior patterns, right?
Right.
But I am.
Well, and don't you think that as parents, we tell our children probably more than we think we do what things they need to listen to and which things that they can blow off. Right, so it's the idea of if you do or don't do that, then this will be the consequence, and then we don't follow through with it, and then at some point they're like, I don't have to actually put on my shoes to go outside, because I don't really ever get in trouble for that.
Very good point.
Well, and I learned a long time ago as a teacher, you should say to young people, I need you to do something rather than I want you to do it. So as a parent, if you can kind of learn to change that vocabulary a little bit,
Where's
that
my
kind of
phone?
helps.
Write that
Because
down.
need is more urgency, and there's a purpose behind need. One is like anybody else. Well, you know, I like a big Mercedes Benz, but I don't think I'm getting one for Christmas with a bow on top. You know,
I really need you to give me that Mercedes.
I was just listening to all of you. I wonder if it's a generational thing that none of us really thought our moms were naggers. They were particular. They were strong. They set expectations, but they didn't do that yappy. I don't know.
I don't know. I do feel like I might be laid back. I don't want anybody getting pregnant though.
No.
So now I'm going to try to be more on it. But you know, my mom would give us chores to do, and then she would do this and like make sure there was no dust on the table. I mean, I would never do that to my children, but now I might start because I think
and maybe you need to start because you know, one of the complaints we hear as a society is that we don't have the work ethic. We don't have that instilledness of doing 110%. 70's good. I'll get around to it when I get around to it. You know, I tried to make my daughter make her bed. And you know, I tied it to her allowance, and you know, she said, "I don't want to make my bed." I said, "Well, I'm not going to pay you for it." She goes, "That's okay. Dock me." That's psychology. That's psychology.
My time value. My time value.
Blew up in my face.
I'm agreeing with you, Carrie. You do need to go put your shoes in order, hang up your clothes.
They don't know the dishwasher.
The
they do that stuff
already.
So some chores are good.
As the male representative on the panel. Okay. So here's the challenge that I have sometimes as a spouse, is that I will sometimes hear my wife's interactions with the children sound like nagging. Right? And I get frustrated both with the kid and with my spouse. And I so desperately want to inject myself into the circumstance and say, could we please cut this out? Right? And I struggle with sometimes to say that's not exactly what my role is in this particular circumstance.
Should he, Beth? Kenny?
I think a parental front that is on the same page is so important for the kids. But, you know, sometimes because your wife's personality may be a little more type A than your personality. Like, that's the way my house is. My husband's much more laid back than I am, and I'm very much more controlling and organized. And, you know, I like everything in its place because that makes me feel less stressed. So I try and portray that with my kids. But, you know, my husband needs to let me handle that and then come back to me and say, "What were you doing?
Yeah, maybe
you were being, you know, overbearing, over-controlling."
When I'm overstuffing the laundry baskets with those that need to be folded.
Very interesting. We could talk about this all day.
We really could. But I'm going to try not to nag, and you try to be a little more particular for the boys. Okay, Kara and I are toasting after this short break.
What? We're up?